Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today is National Koi Day. This day was dedicated to koi fish so that we may learn about these colorful fish and celebrate the life of Hanako, the world's oldest koi fish. Hanako, or Flower Girl, was born during the era of samurais and shoguns. She was born in 1751, but sadly died July 7th, 1977. She lived a total of 226 years. So today we celebrate koi fish in honor of her. Koi fish is a variety of Amur carp, specifically bred for water gardens. Historically, records indicate breeding began in Niigata, Japan, around the 19th century. Koi fish and goldfish are cousins because they are both descendants of carp. However, the goldfish is the older fish species of the two. These fish were originally brought to Japan as a food source, but farmers began to breed them specifically for their beautiful colors and patterns. Koi fish were brought to worldwide attention after one was given to the Japanese emperor as a gift in 1914 to grace the imperial palace's moat. The taxonomic order for koi fish flows as follows. They belong to the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Chordata, the class Actinopterygii, or ray-finned fishes, the order Cypriniformes, carps and minnows, the family Cyprinidae, carps and minnows, and the genus Cyprinus, the species Cyprinus rubrofruscus, formerly grouped as Cyprinus carpio or Cyprinus carpio haematopterus. There are many varieties of koi fish, and a new variety could be presented at any time, but for now there are the Koshaku, Teisho Sanke, Showa Sanshoku, Tancho, Shiro Utsuri, Hi Utsuri, Ki Utsuri, Asagi, Shushui, Matsuba, Platinum Ogan, Yamabuki Ogan, Kujuku, Hariwaki Kiku Sui, Kamonryu, Bini Kamonryu, Chagoi, Saragoi, Ichibu, Shigori, Goromo, Koshiki, Kikokurigu, and the Kin Kikoyurigu. The koi are a group of breeds produced by artificial selection primarily from black carp called nagoi or magoi, which inhabit lakes, ponds, and rivers in Japan. The black carp refers to the Eurasian carp, Cyprinus carpio, which has previously thought to have been introduced to Japan from Eurasia in prehistoric times. Koi fish are easily recognizable by their beautiful and brilliant colors and patterns. Identification of the koi fish depends on the hues and patterns of the color of the fish. The most common colors of the koi fish are white, red, orange, yellow, blue, and black. The most notable category of koi fish is Gosanki, which is made up of the Gohaku, Teisho, Sanshoku, and Showa Sanshoku varieties. During the Bunka and Bunsei eras, which is 1804 to 1830, people in the Nijimurago area bred red and white koi in addition to black koi, and crossed them to produce red and white colored koi. After that, they further crossed them and perfected them. Around 1875, colored koi became popular and the number of breeders increased. Some expensive koi were also produced, but Niigata Prefecture banned the aquaculture of ornamental koi. It was considered a speculative business, and the business suffered a major blow for a time. However, the ban was lifted soon after thanks to a petition from the villagers. At that time, colored koi included Kohaku, Asagi, Ki Utsuri. From this original handful of koi varieties, all other Nishikigoi varieties were bred with the exception of the Ogon variety. The Ogon variety was the single-colored metallic koi, and that was developed relatively recently. The largest koi fish ever recorded was a whopping 4 feet long and 91 pounds. This monster-sized fish was later sold to a koi enthusiast, Jeff Lawton, where she received the name Big Girl. Goldfish were developed in China more than 1,000 years ago by selectively breeding colored varieties by the Song Dynasty in 960 through 1279. Yellow, orange, white, and red and white colorations had been developed. Goldfish were introduced to Japan in the 16th century and to Europe in the 17th century. On the other hand, most ornamental koi breeds currently distributed worldwide originate from Amur carp. These were bred in Japan in the first half of the 19th century. Koi are domesticated Amur carp that are selected or culled for color. They are not a different species and will revert to the original coloration within a few generations if allowed to breed freely. Some goldfish varieties, such as the common goldfish, comet goldfish, and shubunkin, have body shapes and coloration that are similar to koi and can be difficult to tell apart from koi when they are immature. Goldfish and koi can interbreed. However, as they were developed from different species of carp, their offspring will be sterile. Koi fish love to eat fruits and vegetables, but they will eat just about anything. They especially love watermelon and lettuce. Naturally, koi are bottom feeders with a mouth configuration adapted for that. In the winter, their digestive systems slow nearly to a halt, and they eat very little, perhaps no more than a few nibbles of algae from the bottom. Their appetites typically do not come back until the water has become warm in the spring. Carp are cold water fish, and their ability to survive and adapt to many climates and water conditions allowed the domesticated species to be propagated to many new locations, including Japan. The Amur carp is a hardy fish, and koi retain that durability. Koi fish are found throughout homes, gardens, and shrines across Japan. In fact, the koi fish is such an important part of their culture that they often refer to the fish as a part of their cultural identity. Koi are also popular in many countries in the equatorial region, where outdoor water gardens are popular. In Sri Lanka, interior courtyards most often have one or several ponds dedicated to koi. Koi have also been accidentally or deliberately released into the wild in every continent except Antarctica. They quickly revert to the natural coloration of an Amur carp within a few generations. In many areas, they are considered an invasive species and a pest. Koi fish are typically kept in groups because not only does it look better, but they also enjoy having other koi fish around. Koi fish, however, have been known to be bullies to non-koi fish. Koi fish are highly intelligent fish that also show affection, especially to their human caretakers. They are known to interact with people around them by displaying patterns of excitement when they see people they recognize. Their caretakers can also teach koi fish to do tricks, like stick their head out of the water during feeding time. However, koi fish do carry some bacteria that can cause infections to humans. It's important to know this in case you potentially want to have your own koi pond. It's also important to be mindful of how quickly koi can breed. When koi naturally breed on their own, they tend to spawn in the spring and summer seasons. The male will start following the female, swimming right behind her and nudging her. After the female koi releases her eggs, they sink to the bottom of the pond and stay there. A sticky outer shell around the egg keeps it in place so it doesn't float around. Although the female can produce many spawns, many of the fry, the small fish, do not survive due to being eaten by other fish. The female koi fish can lay as many as 50,000 eggs during one breeding season, of which half will hatch if not tended to. This is because nurturing the offspring is tricky and tedious. The koi fish's breeding is usually monitored by professional breeders. However, unlike cattle or purebred dogs, or more relevantly, the goldfish, the large majority of these offspring, even from their best champion-grade koi, are not acceptable as nishiki-goi. They have no interesting colors, or may even be genetically defective. These unacceptable offspring are culled at various stages of development based on the breeder's expert eye and closely guarded trade techniques. These fry fish will usually end up as feeder fish for the arowana due to the belief that it will enhance the color. Older fry which have been observed to not develop brighter colors and patterns are typically sold as lower grade pond quality koi. The ultimate desired koi is the nishiki koi, which means brocaded carp. In Japanese, koi is also another word that means affection or love, so koi are symbols of love and friendship in Japan. The custom and business of koi breeding has flourished in the Nijimura-go area for two reasons. The custom of raising koi in the fallow fields for emergency food during the winter, and the existence of many inden, or hidden rice fields in the mountains, unknown to the Lord, which allowed the farmers to avoid taxes and become relatively wealthy. Breeding of koi was promoted as a hobby of farmers who could afford it, and high-quality individuals came to be bought and sold as a symbol of courage, patience, perseverance, and strength. The koi fish has been celebrated in Japanese culture for centuries. In the Japanese culture, the color of koi fish symbolizes a specific value, such as wealth, love, good fortune, and success. In Chinese culture, the koi represents fame, family harmony, and wealth. It is a feng shui favorite, symbolizing abundance as well as perseverance and strength, and has a mythical potential to transform into a dragon. Since the late 20th century, the keeping of koi in outdoor water gardens has become popular among the more affluent Chinese. Koi ponds are found in Chinese communities around the world, and the number of people who keep koi imported from Nagata has been increasing. In addition, there are increasing numbers of Japanese koi bred in China and sold domestically and exported to foreign countries. The red koi represents love and passion. Black koi represents anger and aggression. White koi represents good fortune and luck. Yellow koi represents wealth. Orange koi represents beauty and grace. And the blue koi represents adversity and overcoming obstacles. Two of the biggest health concerns among koi breeders are the koi herpes virus and the rhabdovirus carpio, which causes spring viremia of carp. No treatment is known for either disease. Some koi farms in Israel use the KV3 vaccine, developed by Mr. Kotler and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, produced by Kovacs. This immunizes the fish against KHV. Israel is currently the only country in the world to vaccinate koi against KHV. The vaccine is injected into the fish when they are under 1 year old. It's then accentuated by using an ultraviolet light. The vaccine has a 90% success rate when immunized, the fish cannot succumb to KHV outbreak, and neither can the immunized koi pass KHV onto other fish in the pond. Only biosecurity measures such as prompt detection, isolation, and disinfection of tanks and equipment can prevent the spread of the disease and limit the loss of fish stock. As stated earlier, some people have deliberately released koi into the wild. Sometimes this is done as an event for tourism purposes in Japan. However, as koi is an artificial breed, this causes genetic pollution by breeding with native carps. Koi also greatly increase the turbidity of the water because they are constantly stirring up the substrate. This makes the waterways unattractive and reduces the abundance of aquatic plants, and can render the water unsuitable for drinking and swimming, even by the livestock. In some countries, koi have caused so much damage to waterways that vast amounts of money and effort have been spent trying to eradicate them, largely unsuccessfully. However, in many areas, especially in North America, koi are actually introduced into the water, ponds, and golf courses to keep waterborne insect larvae under control through predation. If you would like to celebrate National Koi Day, you can find a local koi pond in your area, watch videos about koi fish and read about them, or even consider having your own koi pond. Much research needs to be done so that you can develop a healthy, safe, and sustainable habitat for them. A well-designed outdoor pond has areas that are deep so that herons and other predators cannot see the koi fish swimming below the surface. It's important to have shade trees and other plants overhanging. You may also need to string nets or wires above the surface to keep other animals from getting into the water and taking the fish. A well thought out pond will have a pump and filtration system to keep the water clear, and care should be taken to provide proper oxygenation, pH stabilization, and off-gassing during the winter months in small ponds. Koi are typically very hardy, and with proper care, they resist parasites and other diseases that affect more sensitive tropical fishes. I hope that you've enjoyed this informative video about koi fish. I've always been very fond of them and think that they're so beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share. And have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.